So I wondered, at what age did music kind of first start to attract you and kind of pull you in?
Um, I've kind of played. I used to be like very like into the Ed Sheeran singer songwriter sort of pattern. Like when I was like 14, 15, like playing around Edinburgh like an acoustic guitar and that. But then like I got in high school bands and stuff and like discovered like stuff like try to think like Wolf Mother and like Band of Skulls and stuff, like heavy like riffy stuff. And like a few pals I was in the bands with like quite metal heads and stuff, so I started to get like into like more sort of heavy sort of shit. So like I kind of around then that time I like started to take it a bit more, like get really passionate about it and stuff. But like from a really young age, like I've always like had music around the house and that. Like my mum's like a really good like piano player, and my dad sings. So
Great
like
singer.
has got some chant like. So I like from an early age of mine, just like music always been a big thing in the house and that, and I was like always encouraged to play instruments and stuff. But like around like 14, 15 was when I like first started to like play around with like writing songs and that. With yourself.
I was probably about similar age. It was about high school, and then I remember like a group of mates were at like tea in the park, and then I remember just like being at the festival, seeing all the groups and all that, and just thinking that it's like a brilliant thing to be a part of. So I think I had a mate who saw a headliner and was like, thought he could do a better job than that, so he thought, let's start a band. So that was probably about 14, 15 as well for myself.
Nice.
And where you are out with music now, would you say it's an obsession, or are you able to like turn it off and on? You can kind of...
Definitely an obsession, like. Aye. Obsessed, aye. Which is good. Definitely.
Aye.
What would you say? Aye.
You are, aye. Yeah, definitely, that's what you want though, it's the balance of... Ryan's a perfectionist with his songwriting, which is a blessing, but it's also, it's funny to watch him when it's a cuss. But I know.
In what ways does that kind of manifest itself then?
Funny, I don't know.
Like in the studio, like when we're working on like
aye.
guitar tones or something, like I become like, I go insane.
Aye.
Like I actually start, I go and I
Just to
like
go for
really...
walks. Just
Aye,
takes
seriously,
himself
like
on
we're
walks
sitting
around
doing guitars
Glasgow.
for like an hour and I'm just like, I need to go outside and like walk around for a bit because like I'm going insane, because you're like, obviously like a day in the studio, you're like downstairs, like underground,
like,
and it's like
tucked
dark,
away
and you're just like constantly thinking about this guitar sound, you forget about all other like things happening in reality. And then I was like, I just started going mental with guitar tones. I started to when we go in the studio, I'm buzzing until we get to the guitar tones, because I like start going mental. But
and then it's 2 a.m. and you're still looking at guitar tones.
aye, totally, mate. But yeah, definitely.
So when like you're in, not only guitar tones but lyrics and everything, are you thinking about the effect that's going to have on a listener? Is that something that's quite conscious in your mind?
The effect it's gonna have on other people.
On a listener, yes.
Not necessarily. It was only kind of in the past like year or two that I've actually started, like I used to write songs just like all the time, just for like pick out daft lyrics that would just like fly through my head or that, whereas like nowadays I'm more like conscious about actually writing about like real life experiences and that, and it seems to be like come out sounding a bit more heartfelt and authentic. I've realised, especially like things like pop song and like Waste My Time and that, and like definitely with like One Last Time with no really shit, but
Still to come.
But yeah, definitely like when I'm writing it, I never really think like, oh, like I wonder what folk will like think about this, because it's more like in the moment I'm like more kind of just writing the song for myself. But then like totally when it gets recorded and that, I'm like always like thinking like, oh, what are people gonna think of this? Are people gonna think it's like shit or like good or whatever? So like, but yeah, I never really keep like the listener in mind usually when I'm writing, because I find that can sometimes be like you're kind of playing playing for
I think that's also a bit ingenuine to do that as well,
totally.
because like the songs are, like I always say, they're like stories. Do you know what I mean? And it's ingenuine if it's like, if you're sitting there thinking, what are people going to be into listening to? Do you know what I mean? So, it's not a good way to sort of think of your lyrics. Do you know what I mean?
Do you then get in quite like an emotionally intense state when you're writing? Is it quite...
I mean,
Just sits there and cries in his
sit
bedroom.
there and cry out loud.
Like, start greeting it, it all comes out.
It depends what kind of song it is, I suppose. I'm never really get like emotional when I'm writing it or that. I'm more kind of just like focused on like serving the melody with like some good lyrics, or like thinking of like kind of like clever things to say about the situation or something that like. But definitely when I listen to it and it's like completely finished, I do get like a wee bit like emotional, just because it's like this is like came from like a thought or an idea or an experience, and then it's like now like
come
fully
from a real
recorded.
place,
So
like.
come from a real place, and it's like fully recorded. It sounds amazing. It's like you're like sitting and listening to full blast, and like your pals are like vibing on it, and like you're like folk are loving it and that. So it's like definitely like when it gets like maybe even released or just like letting people hear it for the first time, that's like definitely like strikes some emotion in you, for sure.
And it feels like since Without You came out, you've kind of been on this rise that hasn't stopped. You know, it's just kept building.
I like to think so. That's good. Yeah.
What was the effect of that after you released that? Do you remember how that kind of impacted the band straight away?
Well, kind of the story with Without You was that like we used to kind of have. I don't know if you remember, like before that we had like songs that were a bit more like psychedelic and heavy and stuff. Yeah, like In Your Mind and stuff. Like it was, we're kind of still trying to find like the right, like where we've sat comfortably with our sound and that, and like where, I don't know, I could never really find the right thing I was going for. Whereas with like Without You, I was just like, I just wanted to like write a straight up like pop tune with like a verse and a chorus and like a melody and like good lyrics and stuff. And then people around me at the time were like, oh, I don't know, like I kind of like the stuff you're doing and that. I was like, nah, just like let me, I just really want to try it. And then we tried it, and like when I remember being in the studio, and like speaking about emotion, to be fair, that's like probably one of the biggest like emotional times in that, like writing that song where we're like in the studio and it's all coming together, and it was like this new thing that we'd been trying, and it was like totally worked, and we're all just like sitting there like absolutely buzzing at like 1 a.m, finishing up in that like with Marshall and Johnny and that, thinking like this is class. And then like we put it out, and like folks seemed to just like totally dig it, and it like got like on really good Spotify playlists, and it's like like sitting on a good amount of streams in that now. So it's like, yeah, definitely, that was just a good what was I trying to say, what was the question again?
The impact.
The impact. It totally just like, it's put me on like a trail of like a new kind of jar of worms or whatever.
I know completely, because I mean the sound before it was, it's interesting because there's elements of the old sound.
Yeah.
And they come through in what we're doing now, but I think that the direction, it's funny because you go back when the question about the lyrics, you know, do you think about the listener when you write them? But I think on the other hand, you know, when you're writing the music of it and whatnot, it's sort of, it's a different game, because then you are just like, what are people going to be into? Do you know what I mean? Like, you know, what's going to get people going, sort of thing. So and I think the stuff that's coming out now is more on the sort of nose with that sort of thing.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
So did tunes like Pop Song comes like out of you writing that tune? Is that what kind of came off the back of that?
Yeah, totally. Like even like people close to me have described Pop Song as like what we were trying to do with Without You, but like it's like, yeah, it's like a more successful attempt, because like we're just like kind of trying to write a straight up pop tune, whereas like I personally think like Pop Song's better, but like
You ask,
yeah, I know, but you ask other people and folk will like say Without You is a favourite in that, but I think like definitely what I did with Pop Song was what I was trying to do with Without You, but like with Pop Song was like a more successful attempt, definitely.
I think the 3 tunes you've put out are quite linked, like thematically, with the things I kind of discussing and talking about. Or do you see them as quite separate?
As in like experiences, like life experiences, or just like...
Just kind of what the tunes are written about, which I do obviously come from life experience.
Yeah.
It's a good question.
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, yes, definitely, like, they definitely have to do with the same, like, subject matter, which is, like, I don't know, just getting... Girls, maybe?
I mean, girls?
And, like, I don't know, just,
like, what's, you know, Without You... I mean, yeah, they all do have a theme, like, definitely.
They're all
like,
kind of...
They're all, like, going back to this...
They're all like kind of love
like,
songs when you think about it.
Definitely, and, you know, they are, like, experiences, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so in that sense, they are all, you know, they are just experiences, and that comes through, I think, like, in the songs, definitely.
When you have an experience, do you kind of know you're going to write a song about it, or?
Being honest, like, aye, probably, yeah, certainly. Like usually when something shite happens or something class happens, I'm like, I can't wait to write a tune about this. Like, wonder what this song's gonna sound like. Which is like, kind of doesn't shame me to say, but it's like, it sounds. I don't know. It's definitely like, yeah, it's definitely true when I think about it.
Yeah. I mean, looking to live gigs for a minute. You've obviously got a decent sized following in Edinburgh, but you've attracted the same in Glasgow. What do you think of the kind of differences between the two scenes?
I love Edinburgh to bits, and it's like where I'm from and everything. Like, the people are class, but I just like love the Glasgow music scene so much because there's like so much more bands and so much more happening. And I mean, I've heard so many people like trying to describe why that is and like why there is like more of a scene in Glasgow, and I've heard so many different opinions and different like answers, but like I don't know, it's just like the way it is. It seems it's just like the Glasgow music scene is just like quality, and there you get me wrong, there's some class like Edinburgh bands going about, there really is, but I seem to always get a bit more what am I trying to say?
Well, I think that like Glasgow, if you're talking technically, I think Glasgow has got like a bigger population for a start, but more than that, Glasgow's got a massive musical heritage, and probably more so than Edinburgh does.
The good thing about Glasgow as well is like they're all involved with each other as well, and they're like all like so supportive, and that like when we go over, like there's so many like bands that like welcome us in with open arms and like totally support us in that, which is like amazing.
Yeah, but I mean, like on a personal note, like I'm absolutely like sick of people that say like, oh, Edinburgh's not got a music scene and whatnot. Because if Edinburgh didn't have a music scene, we wouldn't be sat here right now. But yeah, I think that Edinburgh can get a hard time sometimes for that sort of thing. But
it's definitely like there's so many factors, like it's up to like the council and that, like having the 10 PM curfew on venues and that, like whereas like you'll get like amazing
that's
like
not an issue in Glasgow, so it's got a lot to do with it, like
certainly.
It's all the council's fault.
It's all the council's fault.
To round it off, I've got one last question. I want to look out. Well, it took place in Scotland, but I want to look to an artist from outside Scotland, Tyler the Creator. I wondered what the story was there.
Whoa, nice. You've done your research. How did you find that? That's good. Like you've been speaking to people. Tyler Creator, aye. So you want the story about like how I met Tyler Creator, right? So basically, I was about 14, and my dad's got a shop in Kinross, and basically like when like Tea in the Park was at like Bellado at Kinross and that, like they were like given passes to like supply like the catering and stuff, and it was on the Sunday we got like they were finished working, so basically like my dad was like, there's like 2 passes for like you and your pals to like go around about Tea in the Park, and I was like, that's amazing. And like without knowing it at the time, it was like actually like it was like the team like AAA passes and that, like when you're like 14 you have no clue, but like so like we tried getting backstage and like got backstage and that, and, like met all these like mad like met like pure Calvin Harris and everything, it was like mad. And then so like Tyler Creator at the time was like my total idol in that, and then what happened was I saw him tweeting in the morning. Like I was so nervous to like go up to him because I know he's a bit like funny about like getting pictures with fans and that, and I was like totally like fearful that like he was gonna like patch me or something, and like my dreams were gonna be crushed like for like Stan or something, Eminem tune. But now like he tweeted in the morning being like, oh, Europe sucks because like there's no like Twizzlers or like Starburst for that, and I was thinking to myself, here now we do actually have Starburst here, and then so I was like getting like my lunch somewhere at like the burger van on the way to see Tyler Creator or something, and I like saw they had Starburst, and I was like, Ken, what? I'll buy a couple of packets of Starburst and like offer them to him, see what he says in that. So buy the Starburst, go sit at the backstage, pure like 14-year-old kid by himself and that, like shite myself, like Tyler Creator's gonna rock up there with like entourage and that, and I'm just like going to go up to him with a packet of Starburst, like, do you want a packet of Starburst? But I did it, and he fucking lost his head and went fucking mental, like he was jumping up and down like, oh my god, I fucking love you so much, man, like fuck, losing his mind, man, and like totally jumping about, and he's like, oh, let's get a bit, and he like started taking pictures on his own phone with like me with the Starburst and that, and then I like chucked me on his Instagram and everything. I was like totally
viral, that.
I got like something like 50,000 likes or something, and I was getting like so much like abuse in that,
We Ryan for Dalkeith.
We Ryan for Dalkeith and that. So I was like totally sunburnt and like it was like a wee pink packet of Star Wars and but we're like, yo, this kid's skin is the same colour as the packet and like shit like that. It's so funny, man. Some absolute belters, but aye. There's your story, aye. Pretty cool.
I want to find out how you know that. That's funny.
Aye, totally.
Aye, well, for now. Thank you very much.
Thanks very much, man. Cheers for having us.
Thank you, mate.